Victoria here. I'm here to start another work week reading vlog. I really don't know what this week is going to become. We've been hearing really mixed reports about my school situation. For those that just started watching me, I'm a theater teacher in the DOE in New York City, and we are being told we might go fully remote. We were fully remote from March until October. That was the way our building worked. I've been back in school for about a month. We're going into our second month of being in the building, and now cases are rising everywhere, all across the United States of America, but especially in New York City. So it's possible that we might go fully remote. We were told that on Friday, which is why I brought home all my books and all my stuff, and I have to bring them all back tomorrow. I'm not bringing everything back tomorrow because I'm still convinced that we probably are going to go fully remote at some point. But as always, I vlog my life with you guys. I vlog what's happening, so I figured I'd mention it because it's probably gonna come up quite a bit this week just because cases are rising and it may affect if I'm home or not. So, but right now I'm reporting to the building tomorrow. I have a split schedule, so I teach 5 classes in person and 5 classes fully virtual. But I still have to report into the building. Last week I started Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and that's what I'm gonna start the week reading because I have about 50% left. I really am liking that book. I don't read a whole lot of high fantasy, but I've been trying to get better at reading high fantasy because so many booktubers or YouTubers I follow read it, and it has intrigued me enough to kind of pick it up. So that's the book that I'm in the middle of reading, and I will hopefully update you guys tonight. I'm going to read like a little bit more of it. And then I'm going to kind of tackle 2 other books this week. And one is This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. This is his Regency romance novel that I've heard great things about. I actually have it from the library and I have to return it soon. But this has one of my favorite Regency plots, which I think is pregnancy. So I'm really excited for that. I don't know. I like pregnancy and Regency romances. Don't ask me why. But I've never read a Sophie Jordan, and this one is a Scottish one, and I've never read a Scottish Regency romance before. And also, there's a couple of books that are tailing over from my Feel Good-a-thon that I did during election week. Last week I read Among the Beast and Briars. This week I'm going to try to read Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is a trans Bruja novel, and I've heard amazing things. I follow the author on Twitter, and he's great. I also am determined this week to finish listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama, which was my audiobook for a while, and I'm going to make it my mission to finish it tomorrow, and I'm not going to listen to anything else tomorrow. No podcast, nothing. I'm going to go dive in and start Mistborn, restart it, and then I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts. So I'm going to bring Mistborn with me tomorrow, and I'm also going to bring This God of Mine, and that's going to be how I'm going to start the reading week. And I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Bye. Right here, I just wanted to do a quick update. I went up getting up to chapter 23 in Mistborn, and I got up to page 376, which I'm pretty impressed by. This book has a very complicated world, like a super complicated world. But basically, they're in the middle of a rebellion, and you have the Saka Society, and you have the Noble Society, and then you have the Mistings and the Mistborns. And you have these 2 Mistborns who, in this society, metals are part of their magic system. And when you, when you consume metals, your power has. I think there's 8 or 9 different metals. And if you can control all of them, then you're called a Mistborn. And you're following these 2 characters, Kelsier and Vin. And they are kind of leading their world into a rebellion, basically. So you follow, this book is set in for over many years, the first book, and they're basically leading to this rebellion where they're going to take down the Lord, who is basically keeping control of their society. But you have a character, Kelsier, who's very, very familiar with the world. He's kind of the upsetter, the one that's kind of starting the war. And then you have Vin, who's learned that she was a Mistborn in this book, and it's helping the society grow. It's a very complicated world. There's a lot of societal dynamics in here, and I'm finding it super interesting. I really like both characters' point of view. It's not as war-heavy as necessarily as I was expecting. I sometimes struggle with war books a little bit, but I'm really liking this one. So I'm going to stop reading for the night. I have to go to work tomorrow, so I'm probably going to read a little bit more. These chapters are so long. These chapters are 30 to 40 minutes, so I'll probably read 1 chapter going to work and 1 chapter coming home from work. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna go try to finish watching MacGyver. That's my plan of attack for tonight. And then I'm gonna watch The Mandalorian and probably watch something else. But I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Bye. Right here. Sorry if I look a little bit frazzled. I just got home. It's like a 7:55. I had a very, very interesting day. The story of 2020 has been train delays. So I had a lot of train issues today. I also did a little bit of shopping while I'm able to go to the city and have easy access to craft stores and stuff like that. Not craft stores, bookstores. So did a little bit of shopping. I caught up with a friend and we exchanged some books, social distancing wise and such, but I'll try that in my upcoming book haul. But I was able to finish Becoming by Michelle Obama, which was incredible. 5 stars. Really, really like that book. I'm gonna kind of choose tonight my next read. I think it's going to be The Lost Book of the White by Cassie Clare. But I'm also probably gonna pull another nonfiction book to read as well. I mean, nonfiction books. I'm probably gonna decide on that. But yeah, I actually really liked Becoming. I also made quite a bit of progress on my way home commute because I was stuck on a train for like an hour. I read up until I have like 150 pages left in Mistborn. Definitely took a really interesting turn in that book. Like, we're at the end. The dynamics in that book have changed a lot, like in the past couple of chapters. We're in the last part of it, and I'm really intrigued to see how that book ends. They've had a lot of commentary about like uprisings and standing up for what you believe in and making your life better, and that's just something that the past 4 years I've really been intrigued by, like just standing up for yourself and fighting back. And the powers in that book are also really, really cool, and I know that he has that world in a lot of books, like 2 subsequent series. I'm actually really excited to read more of Brandon Standard in the future. I have Way of Kings on my TBR. But yeah, so this was sort of a shorter update just because I'm a little bit wiped and a little bit tired. But I did wind up doing a little bit of shopping, so I'm excited about that. And I'll share that in my book haul. I'm probably going to have to film a book haul this week because I have quite a few books to share with you guys. But yeah, I will check in with you guys tomorrow, and hopefully I will have started an audiobook, made some more progress on Mistborn, and then I can kind of check in with you guys because it's almost 7:58 and I would like to watch a little bit more of MacGyver. Last night I watched a couple of episodes of MacGyver. Actually, I watched like 2 to 3 episodes, and I'm really intrigued by this 4th season. They did like a massive time jump, and now we're kind of working back to see what happened. And I love those cast of characters so much. I'm probably gonna watch a little bit of that. But yeah, so I'm just going to go kind of organize my life a little bit, and I'll check in with you guys tomorrow for the baby shower. I'm going to tomorrow for one of my good friends at work. She's having a little girl, and I want to make sure that all my gifts are ready for that. So I will check in with you guys tomorrow when I come home, and we will check in about how much reading progress I made. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. It's Larry here. I just got back from work. Well, I actually worked out, caught up on some news, all the fun things. But I wound up getting up to page about 500 in Mistborn. I am really liking it. It's definitely a slower paced story, and I feel like as I go on in the series, I'll probably like the subsequent books a little bit more. I really do like the characters. I think the world building is so fascinating, so compelling, and so rich. But I really do like the characters in this book as well as the world building. It's definitely a longer, like I'm so used to reading like young adult fantasy, so the time in this book is like close to like a year to 2 years. So just a lot happens you have to kind of stay on the pages with, but I'm really, really liking it. So I got up to page 500. I think it's over at like 6:33. It may be over like earlier if they have like a preview of the next book. But I'm going to try to read about 100 pages. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I am going to try. But yeah, I'm gonna go read a little bit more and then I'll update you guys. Last night I did watch a couple of episodes of MacGyver, which is probably what I'm gonna do tonight. They're a little bit mind-numbing. Yeah, so I'm gonna go do that and I'll update you guys when I feel like I have some more to tell you. Bye. It's Larry here. I'm back. I just wound up reading about I have like 100 pages left. It's a very, very long book, but I'm really liking it. I'm definitely gonna focus on it tomorrow. I have a little bit of a headache. Today it was a baby shower at my job and I ate a lot of sweets and I think that's what did my headache in. So I'm gonna go watch a little bit MacGyver and I'll update you guys tomorrow hopefully with a more concise thought about this book. But see you guys in a bit. Bye. Here and back. It's like 6:33. I have some updates to share. So you guys have been following me for a while. I work as a DOE theater teacher. We have been in person since about October 1st, and we decided today to go fully remote again. Something I was totally expecting, just with case counts rising. Our threshold was 3%, which we were getting eerie close to. So yeah, that happened today. Tomorrow we'll probably do what I've been doing for the past month when I was home. Honestly, it's like you never want to like be out of school. You never want it because of course your kids learn better when you're physically in person. But for me and the subject I teach, I think it's a little bit easier right now to teach virtually because it just elongates out my period. The way that our school breaks it down is you have cohorts and you see your cohort like 2 days a week in person. But because I'm a specialty student or specialty subject, I teach theater, I see my students once every 6 days. So, well, 6 days including weekends, so it's kind of like 8 days. And then I have my fully virtual classes because I do both. Those classes have some challenges because I'm not in person with them, but the work retention is a little bit better because they actually see me. So I will admit, I also commute, so my anxiety level is down now. I feel a little bit more better, but case counts are just scary. But I did wind up listening to a few podcasts today. I made quite a bit of progress on Mistborn, and I think I'm going to try to tackle the rest of that. This was definitely not the moment to read a high fantasy, but I am liking it. I really like the world. I really like the characters. Again, I'm not a big fan of war books, and this is definitely has elements of war, and I think that's where my distractibility is coming in. But I am intrigued to keep reading, so I'm actually going to go read. I have a few longer YouTube videos that I want to watch, not my bookish ones. I'll probably do those tomorrow. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a little bit less stressed because commuting was just hard. It's hard to do it when you just never know. With case counts is going up, also engaging with all the kids that I do, it's always a concern. So I'm going to just enjoy the time that I'm home. I'm going to, of course, miss my students, miss my staff members, miss the people I see every single day. But I always say safety's sake, wear a mask, don't take risks. Yeah. So I'm going to go read my book and I will update you guys when I can. Bye. Sorry here. It's 8:10. I do want to finishing Mistborn. I really wound up liking the story overall. I just think the pacing kind of lost me a little bit. So I think I'm definitely going to take a little bit of a mental break from that series. I think I definitely want to read more by Brandon Sanderson. And I might try the audiobook for the second book because I do actually have the audiobook. I got it quite a while ago. But the highlight of that book was definitely the characters. The world building was super unique and really different. I thought that there was a nice balance between like the heist stuff and the war stuff. There was a lot of characters in that book, and sometimes I just got lost in the details. But I did like it. So I think just to kind of give myself a palate cleanser, I'm going to pick up this God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. This is a Regency romance set in Scotland, which I've never really read. Heard a rumor it has a potential pregnancy plot line. And I haven't read any of Sophie Jordan's historical fictions. I've read a couple of her contemporaries for young adults. But yeah, I'm going to kind of dive into this and see how far I can get. Because we're doing fully remote, I don't have to go to bed as early. But I do definitely want to watch a couple of episodes of MacGyver. So yeah, I'm going to kind of see how far I can get, and I will kind of give you guys an update once I read about 50 pages, if I can read that much. But yeah, I'm definitely in the mood for something quick-paced because I've been reading Mistborn for like about a week. And but yeah, so I'm definitely going to read this, and then I'm probably going to read another quick read, and then I'm going to dive back into my fantasy books, which is going to be City of Brass. So talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Here I'm back. I did wind up reading up to page about 42 in This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. The only Regency romances I have ever read are like the court intrigue ones. This is going to be my fourth. This is my first Scottish one, and I really do like it. It's definitely not the Regency romances I normally read, but you basically follow this girl named Clara, and she has been ruined, and she is sent to live with her brother in Scotland. And then you have this other character named Hunt, who, he's the lord of an ancient clan, and Hunt needs an heir, but he comes from a long line of men cursed to die before the birth of their firstborn, and then their paths wind up crossing. And her lie is that she is pregnant with another man's baby, and I guess their paths wound up crossing, and we met them, and they had some flirtation early, but I'm definitely going to tackle a lot of this tomorrow. But my eyes are a little bit tired from reading Mistborn, so I'm going to go watch MacGyver, which is what I was watching last night, and I will update you guys tomorrow, either before work or during work, depending on how much time I have. Yeah. So I will let you guys know how my first day of virtual learning goes for the 2020 for this school year. Last year I did it a lot, but it's been a while, so I'm gonna see how that goes, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Here I'm back. I didn't want to updating you guys in the morning because I was trying to frantically get ready to teach remotely. It actually went pretty well. It was nice to see my kids so quickly. Like, normally I see them so long time apart, so it's nice to actually see them again. We got off to a good start. I think it's going to take a good week to like get used to being home and such, and definitely my sleep schedule will get back to normal because I like kept waking up so early. I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which I don't have to do anymore, so just for the foreseeable future. But I am going to dive into This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. I'm only on page 48, so I didn't really make a whole lot of reading progress, but I am going to go read. I have like 52 YouTube videos to watch, which is a ridiculous amount. When I was watching Mistborn or reading Mistborn, I really was like having a hard time focusing on it, so I didn't like put anything new on as a video. But this book has started. I think I said in a previous clip, but there's a Clara. She is ruined, so she has to go live in the Scottish Highland with her brother. And there's a man named Hunt who believes he cannot have children because his family is cursed. And their paths wind up crossing. So I'm really excited to dive into this and just kind of escape from reality for a little bit and go into the Scottish Highlands. So I'm going to go get a drink and drink of water or whatever I want to drink. But then I'm going to dive into this, and I'll update you guys when I get up to about page like 70 and let you guys know my thoughts, because I really want to tackle them. I want to read something quick, and this I think will be a perfect read. So off I go. Bye. It's Larry here. I'm back. It's about 5 o'clock. I did wind up playing a little bit of Animal Crossing. But my eyes are really, I forgot, during COVID learning, I really had a hard time staring at a computer screen for like from 8 to 2. But it's even like worse now because like we really do teach from 8 to 2. Last time we only taught from like 8 to 12:30. But I'm definitely have to look into some getting blue light glasses because I don't think my head is going to be able to contain that. So I just decided to read for a little bit, just to hopefully make my head hurt a little bit less. But I do want to getting up to page 85, This God of Mine. I really like this book. So it basically follows this girl named Clara, and she is ruined, and she was in a very, very bad relationship. So the only way she could think to get out of the relationship is if she said she was pregnant with another man's child, which is taboo in the society. So she winds up going to live with her brother who lives in the Scottish Highlands. And they wind up making a connection. And Hunt believes that he can't father children because of a curse. She's not actually pregnant though, but he decides that he will marry her and save her. But little does he know, she's not actually pregnant. So I think that's like a really interesting concept for a novel. Like, I'm intrigued. So I'm going to keep reading. I got up to page 85, and it's very, very quick. Mistborn kind of slowed down my reading this month because it was so big and a little bit dense to get through. But I'm going to go read a little bit more of this. I'm also watching Bregan's reading blog for Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rowanhorse. That's a book I am highly interested in. She's also going to talk about Addie LaRue, which is a book that I have on my TBR as well. So I'm going to go read this, and I'll update you guys when I read to maybe about like 150 or when I feel like I have something to share. Bye. I'm back. It is about 6:16, but I did wind up getting up to page 140 about in This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. I'm really enjoying this book. Basically, they both have secrets. I love books that have secrets. I love that this is a Scottish book. I haven't read a Scottish Highlander book before. I like that there is a pregnancy element. I like how there's a curse. Those are some of my favorite elements. I just really like Clara as a character. I also say this in all of my contemporary reads. I love when you get both the male and the female point of view. I just think it expands the world. But I just love the setting. It's definitely not a book type I've read before. but I am a big fan of the pregnancy plotline or the fake pregnancy. I don't know how that's going to work in a historical fiction read. I sometimes struggle with it a little bit in like a contemporary read, but I think it's super interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I will admit my sleep schedule has fell a little bit out of whack in addition to staring at a computer all day. So hopefully I will be able to rest my eyes a little bit later tonight. I do want to watch a couple of episodes of MacGyver, but I'm gonna try to read up until like page 200. I'll probably try to read tonight, and see how far I get. But yeah, I will check in with you guys when I read a little bit more. Here, just doing a quick check-in. I did end up getting up to page 150, chapter 11, in This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. I'm really enjoying this book. I am struggling a little bit with the lying, but I hope it will probably end in an interesting way. It's definitely like a fun read. I really like the setting. I think the setting is definitely a highlight. I like how there's a larger cast of characters. I always liked books where there was like servants and how they have relationship with the ladies, so that was fun. And I really like both characters. They're solid, they're interesting, they're compelling. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading. I'm gonna read about 50 more pages for sure, see how tired I am. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm probably gonna stop reading at 7 and give my eyes a little bit of a break. But yeah, I'm going back to reading and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. I did decide to stop reading for the evening. It's almost 7 o'clock, and I went getting up to page 164. Definitely is a fast-paced read. I'm really enjoying it. It's just going to take me a couple of days, I think, to get used to staring at a computer screen so much, and that's probably why my focusing is a little bit rough. I'm also going to try to take more eye breaks tomorrow and like actually go out and do some things when I'm teaching. Because when I was in school, I really was not staring at a computer screen. I was doing other things. I was walking around. I was teaching. And again, it's just a lot of eye strain. So I'm going to look into getting blue light glasses. I don't know how long this process is going to last. We could be here for a couple of months. We could be here for a couple of weeks. So we don't really know. Definitely a couple of weeks. But I'm leaning more towards a longer process like last year. But I could be wrong. So anyway, I'm getting up to page 164. Very, very fun read. I haven't got to the steamy part yet, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow when I'm working, because tomorrow, again, is another day where we have to kind of adjust the kids to being fully virtual. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Here I'm back. It's about 7:49 on November 20th. Last night, I wound up getting up to page 164 in Sophie Jordan's This God of Mine. Still really enjoying it. I think I'm going to try to read a little bit more today throughout my workday. But yeah, today's the second day of virtual learning, which we all expected to happen, but getting the kids all on the same exact track does take some time. My goal is to finish the majority of this book today. I also want to start Rage by Bob Woodward. I got that from my library. It's a much longer audiobook. And I'm going to try to avoid listening to YouTube videos when I'm at work and listen to my audiobook. Now that I'm home, I can do that. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. I'm going to go do some grading so I'm not stuck grading this weekend. And I'll update you guys throughout the day if I need to. I'm probably going to end this reading vlog today, so I'm probably going to do a few more updates when I can. But see you guys later. Bye. Hey, it's Laura here. I'm back. It's about 10:09. I did want to have teaching 2 classes. Now I have a little bit of a break, but this book definitely did get a little bit more steamy, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to try to tackle quite a bit more of it. Hopefully get up to at least page 200. By the time I have to go back, I have about an hour off, and I'm sort of caught up to date on my grading for at least for this half of it, which is actually pretty good. So I'm going to go wait to start my next class, read a little bit, and I'll update you guys when I can. I'm still working, but I did wind up getting up to page 200 in This God of Mine by Sophie Jordan. This book is really, really fun. Definitely got steamy. Some of the secrets were revealed. And I'm curious to see what happens next because, like, normally it's like, I don't know, I'm intrigued to see where the story goes next. Like, there's a curse, which Hunt's very, very fearful of, and that's why he married her, because he thought she was pregnant with another man's baby, so he thought, like, well, if I'm married to her, well, at least we'll have a kid, even though if it's not mine, which is a great thing to do in that time period, but now that the secret's out, I'm just curious, like, what the path of their relationship will be. I'm also really liking the Scottish elements of this story, but it does also have elements of, like, high society, so really, really liking it. I'm going to go back to reading a little bit more. I have to teach in a couple of minutes. I have to teach 2 classes back to back. But I'll talk to you guys on my next break, probably. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm actually done with work for the day. I mean, technically done with work for the day. But I'm going to kind of organize my room a little bit now that I am teaching from home, and it happened suddenly like in the middle of the week. So I'm going to kind of organize myself a little bit, figure out what I have to do this weekend, and kind of go from there, decide if I'm going to go to yoga in person or not, figure out what my R&D stuff is. But the good news is I don't really have to do work at home because I have so many hours during school day, which is good. But I'm going to kind of figure out what I want to do. I think I'm going to work out, kind of do, take a few minutes, take some time, and then I'm going to kind of figure out what I want to do. I really am going to starting to get a move on my Christmas shopping. That's the real thing I want to do this weekend. I might actually start that tonight and just kind of send stuff out and start organizing stuff, because I know sending stuff out on Christmas this year is going to be a little bit chaotic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take a couple of minutes. I'm going to kind of organize, work out, figure out what I want to do, clean my room a little bit because it looks sort of like a bomb hit it. And yeah, that's kind of my plan. So I will check in with you guys when I'm ready to start work. I also did start listening to Fear by Bob Woodward, which is the book about Donald Trump's start of his presidency, which I have been really wanting to read now that his administration is now over. Well, it looks to be that way anyway. But yeah, I'm really excited to read that. So I'm going to go do some R&D stuff. And I did, I can't, my book is over here, but I am on to page 224 in The Scud of Mine. I really am liking this. It definitely took an unexpected twist in the middle. They can be a little bit formulaic, kind of like contemporary novels, but they're always, I just like this time period a lot. So I'm going to go figure out what I want to do, figure out what I want to read this weekend, all the fun stuff, and then I'll check in with you guys when I'm ready, when I know what I'm going to do tonight. That's actually what I was saying, because I don't even know yet, but I'll be back. Bye. Here I am back. It is about 3:50. I did wind up working out, doing my Instagram stuff. I'm going to try to do some Christmas shopping because I want to kind of get that stuff kind of done. Not all of it, but some of it. And then I'm going to see, I'm really just going to like read the rest of the night. That's really my plan. But I do kind of want to wrap up this reading vlog. So I want to give you guys a couple of more clips. I still didn't make any reading progress on Sophie Jordan's The Scud of Mine, but I did wind up listening to the first chapter of The Lost Book of the White by Cassie Clare and Wesley Chu. This book is set, I think it's set, well, the chapter I read, like, these are the Magnus and Alec books, and they're set oddly in timelines. Like, the first one I read was, like, set, like, before, like, in the middle of book 3, I think, of the Mortal Instruments series. So this one, I think, from what I heard from Alexa and Mackie, is set, like, after the Shadowhunter Academy that Simon went to, and the characters are actually in that book, so I'm like really excited to read that. And I also wound up listening to a little bit more of Rage, or Fear, I think it's Fear. Rage is the next one, by Bob Woodward. But I'm also listening to my Millennial podcast that I've been in the middle of listening to. So I'm going to go try to do a little bit of Christmas shopping and try to like do some sending and get some addresses and kind of start that ball going. Especially because some people I know is like moving, and I want them to get their gifts before that. So I'm gonna go do that, and then hopefully by then I will have made a little bit of listening progress on all my things. But it's definitely earlier now that I'm not commuting to work, which is nice. But I also didn't have to do a lot of like prep stuff. I'm gonna save that for Monday. So I'm gonna go do my shopping stuff, and when I'm done and ready to like organize and like kind of end, I'll probably wrap up this reading vlog, but talk to you guys in a bit. Lori here. I'm actually here to wrap up this reading vlog. So during this week, I actually tackled a few things. I wound up finishing Mistborn, which I would say I liked. I didn't say I love it. I also think it was like a weird week to read Mistborn, because it's very, very high fantasy. But I am definitely intrigued enough to keep reading. I wound up giving that book like 3 stars. I did like the characters. I like the world building. I thought I struggled a little bit with the pacing. But overall, I liked it. I also finished listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama, which was a book that I have read for like a couple of months because it just took me a longer time with all my podcasts that I have been listening to. Love that book. Gave it 5 stars. Thought it was really, really awesome. Really a nice interesting look at not only her life in the White House, but also just her life in general, her marriage with Barack, her childhood. I liked how it was structured. She could read me like a grocery list, and I loved it. And I also started This Scott of Mine by Sophie Jordan, which is a book that I got up like to 225 pages in. Really enjoyed this one as well. I'm not quite done with it yet, but it's definitely a steamier read. So I'm going to actually go start my next reading vlog, and I'll talk to you guys for that. Bye!